Incoming transmission.
We are back. What is up, everybody? Tasteless in State here for Season 1 of 2026 GSL. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, Tasteless. We are finally back. It feels like almost a year since we've been back in the GSL studios, since we've been casting these games again. And I am so excited to be back here with the GSL. I can't wait to see what this season's going to have in store for us.
It's felt like forever, man. I knew for a little bit that GSL was coming back. I know I had a lot of people asking me. We're finally here, guys. Season 1 is back, and it's so good to see that StarCraft 2 is still getting supported here by Soup. It's been an incredible run here. I'm so glad that we have returned for another year and are going to be back banging out more GSLs for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining us.
I mean, it's the longest running StarCraft 2 show, longest running esports show in history. We're back for another season, and it's going to be really thrilling to see exactly where all the players are at. You know, it's excited to get into this.
Yes, it's we're going to be following the same format that we had from the previous year. So if you guys were watching last year, it's been a little bit of a shortened season. So we're going to have, tight group selections, and then very quickly we're going to be going into the Final Four as well as the finals.
Yeah, pretty soon we're going to be taking a look at the schedule here for the 2026 GSL Code S, as it's going to be a lot of action coming at you very quickly. This week already, the 29th and the 30th, today and tomorrow. It's going to be Group A and Group B of the round of 12.
Yeah, now our finals is going to be on Sunday on the 17th here. You do not want to miss it, and that will have tickets for sale. So in case you're watching, you're like, oh my God, GSL's back, but can I come down and watch? Well, you can't watch for the Wednesday or Thursday broadcast, but when we get to that finals, which is going to be on Sunday, you can come down. I would recommend you buy tickets as soon as they go on sale. Or are they already on sale? Semifinals and finals tickets open. So I'll double check.
On the 11th, but yeah, make sure you get those as soon as you possibly can. It's a rare treat to get offline StarCraft 2.
Yeah, so about a little bit under 2 weeks from now, you can get those tickets. But anyways, those sell out very fast, so you do not want to miss that.
Absolutely, and let's take a look at the subscriptions now for GSL. GSL, like a lot of other esports and StarCraft 2 especially these days, is moving to a crowdfunded model. If you want to support the GSL and make it bigger and better, this is how you do it. We have a Code A tier that's right around $3 per month, and a Code S tier around $25 per month with all of the perks that you see on screen. The best way to support the GSL is to go to Soup and subscribe directly on the Soup platform, but we also have patreon.com/GSL at the bottom if that's more convenient for you. And it's a great way to support the GSL, support your favorite players, support your favorite show. We would love to have you join us.
And there's lots of different ways to support, so you got to see what works for you, what makes sense for you. And yeah, I mean, it's now, a very much so a community-funded project here, so we really appreciate the support, guys.
Absolutely, and if we can take a look at the 2026 crowdfunding goals here for the GSL, we'll see exactly where that support could potentially take us as the year continues on. And just as you said, Tasteless, so much of StarCraft 2 these days, it really is grassroots. It's being supported by the community.
Yeah, and we really appreciate the community. So the crowdfunding goals and pledges, this is dependent on, by the way, the combination of the Patreon, the subscriptions here, for on Soup. Soup has a new subscriptions feature, by the way. They've changed the format of the website. So they would combine those, and whatever the monthly amount is, that's the amount that GSL will grow and offer. So you can see those goals down here. And we'll be updating you guys as we do each broadcast on the progression of that, where we're going to be at exactly. And we'll see what the future holds, but it's very cool to see that, we're finally back here and we're back to doing it. I miss doing GSL. It always feels weird if it goes for too long and I'm not back here in the Soup studio.
Yeah, let's take a look now at the format here for the GSL in 2026. And if memory serves me, Tasteless, it's pretty much the same format that we had in 2025. Oh, actually, hold on. First, we're going to check out the subscription goals. We're already at $6,000 per month here supporting the GSL. That is on Soup and that is on Patreon. And so we're already quite a ways towards reaching that 10K and 15K goal.
So this is the ticker we were talking about. So this is going to be updated every time we go live here. And anyways, let's take a look at the format now. So this is if you watched last year, then you're going to already be familiar with this. But, you know, we've got the best of 3 group phase here. That's for the round of 12 and for the round of 8. After the round of 8, we go to the semifinals and the finals. The semifinals and the finals are going to be all in one day. So you're going to have a lot of StarCraft 2 to enjoy on that day. Yeah, and as you can see, we've got a lot of great maps here. Some you probably already know, some that are very new to you.
Yeah, and in this format as well, there are expanded GSL qualifiers, and the top 4 players from those qualifiers directly seeded already into the round of 8. So the round of 12, if you don't see your favorite players, if you don't see Hero Classic Marushin, do not fret. They're already in the round of 8. We will be seeing them next week. We're waiting for the action to pick up here in the GSL.
Yeah, so, you know, this is a real... It's a lot of StarCraft 2 in a short period of time. It is a lot of fun, though, to get to that final day and basically see, you know, that amount of intensity here in the final run of the tournament all happen with the semifinals as well as the finals here.
Absolutely. For the round of 12, it'll be the same format that pretty much everybody knows and loves, the GSL Codas group format.
So, sorry, what did you say?
Okay. I was just saying, it's exactly what we see right here. It's the same group format that we've always had in the GSL. Today, it's going to be Group A. Here on the 29th, Rogue, Percival, Zoun, and Solar, 4 players. Only 2 will survive. Tomorrow, Group B, it's going to be Kira, Trigger, Bunny, and Beyond. But today, I'm really interested in seeing especially how Rogue and Percival is going to go. That's going to be the first match of the day. And Rogue, you know, he's a storied StarCraft 2 veteran. Some people call him the GOAT, in fact. And he really is one of the greatest Zerg players of all time. And he's going to be going up against someone who is, it feels a bit strange to say it this way, but kind of still feels like a rookie in Percival.
Sure.
He's only been in a handful of GSL Codesses. He's still very young in his early 20s, which, as far as StarCraft 2 goes, we don't really get a lot of fresh blood coming into the ecosystem, especially out here in Korea, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a baby. I mean, compared to these other guys who are considerably older. StarCraft 2 is now about 16 years old. A closer look here at our group. So Rogue, Percival, Zoun, and Solar, a very stacked group. Zhaon's had an amazing run in the year 2025. Solar always looking strong. And, of course, Rogue being back and, you know, being Rogue, frankly, this guy, I think he might be the player to get out first in this group. I mean, when he's on, he's really on. And he's always approached the game from his own perspective. He doesn't seem to be somebody that's trying to emulate or copy what the other Zerg players are doing. So I think he's pretty hard to kind of go up against. You know, Rogue, a guy who at periods of time has been someone who's really been like literally on top of the world champion multiple times. For a while I was wondering, is this guy ever going to stop winning world championships? A lot of times when I go back and think of Rogue, in all the games I've ever casted of him, I think of the GSL that he won versus Maru in the finals, where the entire season he was doing a lot of Ling, Muta, Bane, and a lot of kind of weird, crazy cheeses. And then in the finals against Maru, he just went like Roach Ravager every game and won. I think Maru won 1 game or something that he rushed in. And I'm like, man, he really has like the complete picture.
Yeah, Rogue is one of these players that is just so good at mixing it up, and I feel like that's absolutely a key to winning. And here we see the Prince of Darkness, Percival.
Yes, in the shadows here. I like the lighting of this shot. This is great. He's the players are playing remotely here, in case you couldn't already tell. Percival here with the lights out, but the monitor on, going up against Rogue. It's going to be a tough match for him. Percival, I think, is capable of beating Rogue and maybe even winning in a best of 3. But
absolutely,
it's going to be tough.
Yeah, this is going to be a tricky battle to go against because Percival, he's got a very aggressive style as well that he likes to play. I'm wondering how that's going to fare versus Rogue, because Rogue doesn't play Zerg versus Terran or Zerg versus anything the way that other Zergs do. He likes to be aggressive. He likes to get in your face. He plays on lower drone counts. He's not afraid of just trying to go toe-to-toe with you right from the onset. He's not one of these Zergs that needs to get 90 drones before he's comfortable battling. And I feel like against a Percival who we typically see very aggressive playstyles out of, that's going to match up really well here for Rogue.
Yeah, Ruby Rock's going to be our first map, Winter Madness for map number 2. And if we're lucky enough to get a map number 3, it is going to be on Old Republic here. GSL is back, and we are ready to start our match here, a best of 3 with Rogue versus Percival in Group A. Let's get into it.
All right, map number 1 loaded in here on Ruby Rock. Rogue spawning in the bottom right is the blue Zerg. Percival, the red Terran, at the top left, and we'll be kicking off GSL in 2026 with a ZBT and a very cheeky early drone scout coming in here from Rogue.
Oh, we got some dirty plays coming in here for Rogue.
Yeah.
I think he's going to proxy hatch.
Oh, look at this supply depot placement here coming in from Percival as well. You know, we've seen players in the past go for the wall that be unpopularized there at the natural ramp, but I've never actually seen the supply depot.
Why is it there?
Placed exactly there. I couldn't.
He's like, so that way I don't see his drone when it comes in. What is happening?
Look at this hatchery too. It's just out of view of the supply depot.
And the barracks isn't even on the low ground.
Oh, this is a bizarre opening. So some interesting SimCity coming up from Percival. He is going for an early gas in this situation, but you know, I would honestly say that the supply depot being on the low ground here, it's actually kind of an Achilles heel for Percival, because he's not going for an early SCV scout, but when you have that supply depot on the low ground, at least Percival is thinking to himself, I know there isn't a proxy hatch in my natural expansion. Well, tasteless, it turns out there is a proxy hatch in the natural expansion.
Yeah, I agree with you, State. The fact that the depot is there, like, you know, that's all your supply, you know, besides the command center. So let's see how this pans out. Now, I don't, keep in mind that Rogue doesn't know the depot's there. Okay, now Percival has scouted this. He's obviously not going to start a command center down there. He knows he's in a very different game. He's going to throw down double barracks.
I like how fast he pulled the trigger on that one.
Yeah.
He has 400 minerals or so banked up, right? Right from the onset.
So he's got a drone going across the map. I assume this is for a spine crawler.
I think it's gotta be.
So he just mines minerals. I'm like, all right.
That takes an extractor.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I can get gas from here. Okay, so he's going to make that. Now the Reaper's going to go across the map and try to kill drones. I assume there'll be a queen ready for this. Actually, maybe not. He's got 2 queens making. I'm sorry. And so the queen's going to have to deflect this. Meanwhile, you know, back on this side of the map, the question's going to be, you know, we need to get drone kills here for Percival, but how much damage is Rogue going to do on Percival's side of the map? Because this is definitely a strategy that's engineered to probably kill Percival, not slow him down.
See how it's going to go. For now, the Lings are going to be able to deflect this Reaper as the natural expansion finishes up. And on the production tab, we saw 2 tech labs and a reactor in production there for Percival, I believe. So we're going to be getting some really heavy one-pace play, and you can already see Rogue starting to inch forward now with the spine crawler, with an Overlord to spot onto the high ground, as well as the Queen to start spreading some creep. And I don't know if Rogue is actually looking for a kill move with this, but he's definitely looking to get some damage done. He wants to take out the supply depots. He wants to cause some problems for Percival, because barring an SCV pull, it's going to be really expensive to take out this spine crawler early on here.
Yeah, I think what I was saying earlier was incorrect, and I think you made a very good observation, State. I think, yeah, this is not engineered to win the game. This is basically engineered to really kind of stuff up the Terran positionally. And, you know, one-base play, it starts to fall off pretty fast in a StarCraft 2 game.
Yeah,
right?
This has simplified the position a lot for Rogue, assuming that he's able to hold on against the build that Percival is going for, because Percival, when he scouted the proxy hatchery in his natural expansion, he had those 400 or so minerals banked to throw down a command center. We have the Marines finally coming down here to clean everything up. By the way, Queen has done a fantastic job of already spreading creep. We're going to have to spend scans on one base to actually clear up all of the creep for Percival to even take an expansion. But to go back to my earlier point, Percival, he had that 400 minerals banked, and what did he do after he spawned the hatchery? He threw down 2 more barracks, he threw down additional tech labs and reactors, he went to get combat shield, he went to get stim, and only just now is he beginning the first expansion. So Percival, he kind of needs to get something done. Rogue might only be on 2 bases, but he's already about 10 more drones ahead of his opponent. He's got a very stable economy on these 2 bases. Yeah, Percival needs to do damage.
Oh, he needs to get spine crawlers immediately. Roaches are going to be great as well. Roaches are obviously extremely strong against Marines and SCVs. There is a layer tech here, so it's there's going to be some really healthy tech options here available if he does get over there. He's not cleaning up the hatchery in any meaningful way. So, like, right now, Percival has to win this game. If he does not, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
More Roaches getting started now in the natural expansion. Rogue does see the SCVs pulled. Roaches are done, but he's kind of bottlenecked up at the choke point here between the main and the natural expansion. The Queens are in the front. They're immediately going to get taken out. First stim doing a lot of damage. Even the grenade getting in. I think there's enough Roaches here for Rogue to hang on. Keep in mind, without medevac support and with very few Marines trickling across the map, in fact, all the reinforcements focused on dispatching the natural expansion of Percival, that's going to be about it. And Rogue, it was an expensive hold. He lost every single Queen hanging on there, but he still has a very healthy drone count. He's also got a lair done in the main base. He's now able to start Roach speed. And Percival, despite having a SCV pull earlier on, is still so oversaturated. He's got to start distance mining from the natural expansion now.
Yeah, he's literally doing that right now. The creep is going to slowly dissipate over here. I think that actually, keep in mind, you can't build any defenses at the expansion yet either. I think a lot of times you look at that position that Rogue's set up here, and you think, oh, no command center, but it's like, yeah, actually also no bunker. So, you know, is there an opportunity maybe for Rogue to try to come in here and attack again? Or does he try to propel himself further ahead by just expanding and growing, as Terran's only going to just now get the space up? And I think with the Ravagers here, I guess this was always destined to happen, right? Roach Ravager attack without a bunker? Yeah, sign me up.
Oh, and Percival's pulling SCVs again. He realizes the situation is just too dire at home right now. He still wants to get damage done.
If you're watching at home and you're thinking, why would you ever pull SCVs and expand? Well, you wouldn't. But I think at this point in time, this game's been rocky enough. He goes, actually, let me just try to all in here. So here he comes.
And luckily for Rogue, Rogue has been powering up this entire time. Percival's going to see that now, stimming up the ramp. Good dodges on the Biles early on. That's the first stim. This Bio very low on HP. The Biles this time, they're buying space. They're forcing Percival back. And you can see the second stim, it just does so much damage. Rogue doubling Percival now in supply.
Yeah, now the kiting's pretty nice here. You know, Marauder's going to do damage and be able to outrange you, even if it's at 1 HP. But it doesn't seem like Rogue's going to be phased by this. He's going to just try to keep pushing forward. There's a lot more Roaches trickling up through the map here from that spawn. Now, again, the Marauder, you know, if you are absolutely like AI micro perfect, you can basically keep doing damage and not get hit. You will eventually lose HP with the stims over time. But that's going to cause a break in the tension there. Is Rogue's going to pull back, and Percival's going to head back home. Now, Rogue is at 91 supply, Percival's at 49. So, I mean, that's a crazy supply difference. I know that Roaches and Ravagers, they take up more supply than normal, but like, you know, having almost double the supply of your opponent is crazy.
Yeah, you can see the army value right there. I mean, it is a lot more supply just because it is Roaches and Ravagers, but this is also just frankly a much more valuable army that Rogue has. And with the Overseer, he sees exactly where Percival's at. If he clicked any of the minerals, he's going to know this is a very fresh expansion. And that's the cue for Rogue just to go. He wants to muscle through and break down this natural expansion. Rogue feeling so confident right now with this push, and I mean, why shouldn't he? He just has overwhelming numbers right now. Another stim coming in for Percival. Even though we have the first medevacs on the field, it's not going to be enough. GG is called. Rogue going to take map number 1 in this series.
Really impressive game from Rogue. I did not expect that kind of game coming out. We have seen versus Protoss and versus Terran these moves where the Zerg basically like pollutes their opponent, their opponent's natural, excuse me, and kind of mucks up the mid game here. So we're going to be going on to map 2 here and seeing exactly what Rogue's going to do this time around. But that was a game that Rogue was basically kind of choosing the pace and the whole shape of the game itself. And Percival was never quite able to play whatever he had practiced.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why Rogue is such a formidable force in a prep tournament like the GSL, because he is just so good at coming into any kind of series with a game plan. I mean, talking about a curveball in game number 1, it's a proxy hatchery, but it's not where the command center would be. It's hidden. Maybe even knowing that Percival likes to build a supply depot on the low ground on that map. Rogue just barely skirting out of vision, building the hatchery at a very unorthodox position and causing all these problems for Percival. Folks, game number 2 is loading in. Rogue versus Percival. Let's get to it.
Okay, Rogue here in the top left, Percival in the bottom right. They've switched sides of the map here. And let's see what exactly Rogue wants to do. I don't think he's going to do that build again today.
Yeah, That would surprise me.
Yeah.
It's a one and done. But
That's
who
kind of
knows how many other builds Rogue has up his sleeves like this, right?
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
this
he's
is
a master of trickery, honestly.
Well, he's a guy that always, he knows how to win, which I know sounds kind of like a corny way of describing somebody who's like one of the best in the world, but he looks at that game and instead of going, well, the meta's like this or Percival's weak like this, he basically just completely reroutes the whole way the matchup's going to work early on to a game where like Rogue knows every step of the way what to do. And you can see Percival's trying to figure out what to do there. He tried to pull SCVs. He didn't pull the right amount, certainly, for his timing to work. Then he tried to expand, and he kind of looked at it and went, oh, I'm so behind right now. I'm going to just pull SCVs and hit there anyways. So I think Percival was pretty out of his element in that game. And you could really see that, that's one of the hardest parts about dealing with a build like that. It's not a mainline opening, as they would say in chess. You're kind of playing these obtuse lines that you have to really be kind of into esoteric StarCraft to know what kind of game this is going to be.
Yeah. To kind of build on the chess analogy here, I honestly feel like Rogue, among all the players that we have today in the game, is kind of like a Bobby Fischer. Like, he goes into the game and he doesn't want his opponent to have a game plan and prep. He doesn't want to play the rote memorization game that classical chess often is. So he's going to make moves that are unorthodox, and on paper, if you look at it with an engine, well, it tells you it's probably not the best move to make in that position. It's probably a blunder or a mistake. But what it does is it creates an entirely novel situation that knocks the opponent off balance. And then Rogue looks at that situation and says, how can I capitalize on this? Percival, if I build this hatchery at a very funky position in your natural expansion, suddenly your game plan is no longer applicable anymore. You have to think on your feet the entire time through the game. And Rogue is just so good at making games messy like that.
Yeah.
It's such a treat to watch.
Yeah, he's going to be coming up now. And it's one of those games where, yeah, I think it's like great in a tournament. You can pull it out in ladder, but I think those are builds you almost don't even want to reveal if you're like a pro gamer of Rogue's level on ladder, because people can check your game history and kind of look at what you're up to. But that's like an ace up your sleeve, Actually guns down both links here.
Rogue diving deep with those lings. Did not see the third command center as it's placed very close to the main base here of Percival.
Yeah, and 3CC is like the most standard play. I expect 2 eBays to come in here.
Yeah.
I don't actually know when the 2 eBays are supposed to be made in this.
I think it's
build
different
order.
depending on the player. Like, if you see Maru do it, he'll go into the double engineering base really quickly because
That's
he's
what I
just
thought.
the king of upgrades. I mean, we've seen him survive games versus Shin where it's like 200 supply versus 100 because he's got 3-3 to the 1-1 of Shin. And then sometimes he'll get somebody like Cure who is just going to power up, focusing on production buildings and hitting an eventual timing. Bjorn might do the same thing where it's all about building up from the economic base into a timing. And Percival, I feel like he's one of those ladder players. Not so much on the Maru side of things, where he's playing for the supreme endgame and the ultimate upgrades, but rather focusing more on the mid-game here, as he's going up already to 3 barracks. He's already starting stim. Clearly, there's going to be some kind of timing in a couple of minutes that Percival wants to hit and get damage done. Only now, after he starts stim, and has a second tech lab ready for combat shields as he throw down the double engineering bay.
Yeah, so the double E-Bays come down now. We have the Ro.12 about to finish here with the armor upgrades starting for Rogue. And I'd be curious if there's anything that Rogue can really do to Percival right now. I mean, if you got the barracks a little bit earlier than the E-Bays, I would think you should be safe. It can be hard to say because, if the factory's later, a lot of times it's the siege tanks that kind of drive away Ravagers and really, force Roaches to respect your position. And we don't have a factory at all yet, right?
Yeah, no factory just yet. All the gas is being spent on the tech labs, on the upgrades, now on the engineering bays coming in.
Percival's going to be able to move out on the map and maybe attack in a little bit earlier. But, without Medivacs as well, you're not... Oh, wow, he's going to land pretty soon, actually. I feel like we have a lot of games where people don't land this as fast, which is interesting.
Percival going for the really fast third base, and I suppose getting the fast 3 racks up like this is giving him the confidence to be proactive on the map, to take that third very quickly here, because he's the one that's going to be getting aggressive. But Rogue, he hasn't been droning up that much. Still, in terms of production lately, it's mostly been these Roaches.
you know, without medevacs, you can't really get away. You know, Stim will speed you up, but you know, if you don't have anything to pick you up, you can actually be chased all the way across the map and killed off here. And it seems like Rogue, God, this kind of reminds me of how Byun used to play a long time ago, where he just sort of have a chunk of units and kind of try to assert himself on the map, but it doesn't seem like he has enough. And maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like Zerg could probably just go attack the third base now.
I think that's what Rogue is gunning for. He does have the Overseer. He's flying it back into the third base now just to check the saturation, confirm exactly what is going on there, checking for bunkers, any sort of static defense. And he's going to see a very well-populated base, and that's going to be the cue for Rogue to start applying some pressure now. It has been nothing but Roaches and Ravagers for the last couple of minutes here for Rogue, so his army supply really starting to swell up. And Percival, this is a very Marine-heavy composition, and yes, he does have 1-1 weapons about to be done, but +1 Carapace is already done for Rogue.
Yeah, well, also he's stimmed to run back home, so he's just with low HP, fighting units here. He's going to try to run up. The Biles are going to be shot down here. Remember, the stim is going to deplete, and he's going to have to sacrifice more HP if he wants to try to fight over here as well. Some of the production is actually on the low ground. We see the weaker Roaches are morphing into Ravagers. And, I mean, this is a little bit scary. He's going to pull some SCVs. He's going to try to come up. He goes right underneath the Biles. More Ravagers are going to hatch. 27 SCVs have already been killed off. Just in the nick of time the medevac comes, but will that actually be enough?
I just feel like there isn't enough sustain right now. The Bio's so low on HP. The DPS is there for Percival, but we just don't have enough healing. There's no HP left. Rogue has already chewed through the majority of the army. Now a Siege Tank is going to try and entrench itself here on the high ground, but the natural expansion is completely void. 42 SCVs have gone down. The third base also depopulated. And Rogue, he might not be able to breach the main base just yet, but Percival, his entire economy is in disarray. Yeah,
this is really bad. He's going to try to come down here and take this. I think there's just so... That's going to be a GG. I was going to say, I think there's so much on the ground there for Rogue. Like, there's no barricading that and surviving. And even if you were to survive, I mean, where's the game going to go from there? You're never going to get your command center landed there. Honestly, kind of a weird game for Percival. I left that with more questions than answers. That almost seems like a way to play where, like, if you don't pay really good attention to what your opponent is doing, like if you're Rogue and you're not, then you would lose. But like the thing is, Rogue's like the ultimate reacting player, right? He's the guy that's able to survey everything you're doing and kind of make those micro adjustments and then come out on top, which is exactly what he did. He had just the right amount of Roaches and then had his own counterattack and came in there with the kill.
Yeah, I really like the approach that Rogue had, both in Game 1 and Game 2. I mean, he leaned very heavily on the Roaches and Ravagers, but he hardly needed anything more to win, and that's going to send him to the winner's match.
Guys, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our second best of 3 of the night.